What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're going to be summarizing everything that Bungie revealed about new seasons, a ton of gear, updates, changes they're making based on some of our feedback, and also generally how seasons work and what you can expect from them. So there's a ton of new gear from Iron Banner, Trials, Faction Rally, Bright Engrams, and even some new exotic loot as well. So a lot of cool stuff, and it was nice to see Bungie kind of show they were listening, especially when it came to Iron Banner. Obviously something a lot of people weren't happy about. They didn't address absolutely every concern with the game. They do have some more streams planned to talk about that in the Osiris DLC, but this was the beginning of them announcing some new stuff and some changes they're making. So it's pretty cool to see, and we've got a lot to get through in this video. So let's begin talking about seasons. So right now they're planning on having 4 seasons in the first year of Destiny 2. That could change, they might have some more or some less, but right now they're planning on 4 seasons in the first year of this game. And they said there will be some surprise events and new content thrown in there randomly as well without seasons. So each one is supposed to change the theme of the experience. Also, Sandbox change is going to be a big Sandbox patch with each season, also new features and generally more content. On top of that, new events are always going to launch at the beginning of a new season. So this is something I speculated on in a recent video, but we're going to know exactly when events and especially Sandbox patches and new content are going to drop based on when the seasons begin. So it's basically set in stone. So it's not going to be a guessing game of when are we going to get a new patch or a new update or a new event. We're always going to know exactly when the new season begins is when new content, patches, and stuff like that drops. And also the major DLCs like Curse of Osiris and the Warmind expansion are separate. Those are going to launch by themselves. But Curse of Osiris is actually going to launch very shortly after Season 2 begins. So let's talk about some new content. So right now, of course, we're about halfway into Season 1, but when Season 2 begins, the Dawning event is actually going to return, which is pretty cool. So this is going to make the tower all snowy, it's going to be winter themed, there's going to be ice hockey inside the tower, which is pretty random. I'm guessing it will be where the football field normally is in the hangar. There's going to be ice hockey, and they showed a very, very early kind of unfinished version of what it might look like. There's also going to be snowball fights inside the tower and also inside PvE content like strikes. So I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but I'm guessing you should go out to a pile of snow and pick up a snowball to throw at something, and it is going to be inside PvE content. Now, more importantly, aside from the gimmicks, there is going to be brand new armor sets and weapons, which is really cool stuff. So you can see the armor sets right here, which is a very similar style to Destiny 1, but not actually reskins. This is a brand new set. Again, it looks similar to Destiny 1, but it's not a reskin of it. And there's also going to be brand new Dawning weapons for the first time, which is cool. We never had that before, just armor and cosmetic stuff from the engram packages. But this time there's going to be proper armor and weapons. Of course, they didn't show the actual weapons off. They're probably going to look very similar to the armor sets, and of course the new perks and stuff like that. There's also going to be new shaders and emotes. So the Dawning was a pretty good event back in Destiny 1. I think it was very well received. Obviously not a massive amount of stuff to do. I'm liking how there is going to be a weapon set especially, and that is going to be the beginning of Season 2. So next up, let's talk about Iron Banner. So there's going to be quite a lot of changes here, and they've taken a lot of our feedback. So it's important to note that the changes I'm about to talk about are not for the very next Iron Banner. That's still going to be the very last one inside Season 1, but Season 2's Iron Banner, which should be the next one after that, is going to be when these changes are implemented. So they said they took our feedback to heart about the loot system, and you can now buy weapons directly with tokens and legendary shards from Saladin, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it's very similar to how Destiny 1 worked, and a lot of people were suggesting and asking for that feature. But the main thing is you're going to be earning the same armor sets from Season 1, but the new thing is that these gear sets are going to have a new ornament slot on the actual gear. Next to the mod and infusion and shaders, there's going to be an ornament slot. So what you do is you earn these ornaments through gameplay challenges that you'll see on the actual gear. So they might be like win 10 matches of Iron Banner. The Trials gear is going to say something like go flawless. We'll talk more about Trials in just a second, but with Iron Banner and these ornaments, essentially applying this ornament is going to transform the armor to look completely different, as you can see on screen right now. This is the new kind of ornamented gear set, and it's very, very cool. It's completely different, not like a reskin. It's basically a new armor set. So as well as that, Iron Banner Season 2 is going to bring a new set of brand new weapons, and some of them fitting in missing categories. So the Vice Energy Scout Rifle, for example. They also mentioned the Energy Hand Cannon. Now, of course, these guns are reskins, which is a shame, but at least the reskins do look a bit better, in my opinion, to the Season 1 set. They've got the tree going over it, the silver wolf head. So they also talked about a couple other changes to Iron Banner they will be making, but didn't detail them. So they're going to be making some slight tweaks based on our feedback, and these are going to be present in the second season of Iron Banner. So next up, let's talk about Trials of the Nine. So this is the weapon set for Season 2 of the gear. Basically the same as Season 1, but a different pattern on the side. The main difference is that the perks are going to be rotating. So those are going to be different for Season 2 and Season 3, which I actually really like. So it makes the Season 1 stuff a bit more exclusive, and it's the closest thing to random weapon rolls we're going to get. So by the end of Year 1, you might have 4 prosecutors from all 4 seasons, and they're going to look a slight bit different, but they're all going to have different perk rolls, which I really like. So there's also going to be a brand new Trials armor set through the ornament, same as Iron Banner, and of course it's going to look completely new. They didn't actually show it off because they want to keep it a surprise, but just like Iron Banner has that new set, Trials is also going to have a completely new armor set. So unlike the weapons, which is basically a new pattern, the armor is going to have completely new ornaments earned through gameplay, and one example they gave was going flawless in Trials. So on the topic of Crucible, they also mentioned that inside Season 2, there's going to be events that bring new maps in Crucible as surprises. So just like Eternity for Trials, or Emperor's Respite with the Raid or Shores of Time for Iron Banner. We don't know if they're going to be remakes of fan-favored Destiny 1 maps like Shores of Time was, but they will be dropped as a surprise. So next up, let's talk about Faction Rally. So they said they're going to be improving how the event works as a whole, and they mentioned how the most optimal token farm was just running around the Lost Sector on Titan by yourself. So I'm glad they're going to be making a system improvement to make it a bit more fun, hopefully, and I'm guessing public events will probably be the best way. So there's going to be one more faction rally before the end of Season 1, and during this they're going to drop the remaining weapons we've seen inside the database, and the next one after that is going to be the first faction rally of Season 2, which of course is going to bring new weapons, new armor sets. You can see the Dead Orbit set right here with the shader, and this stuff looks really, really nice. This is what Dead Orbit should have looked like in the first place. This is really impressive. There's also new Monarchy gear, which is even nicer than the first set. More gold, more shiny, very nice. And also Future War Cult, which is also way better. Some of the weapons as well you can see here. You can see Future War Cult seems to be doing away with that ridiculous clown color theme. It's now chrome mainly, so it seems like chrome may be the new color of Future War Cult. You can also notice how Dead Orbit has a linear fusion rifle, so it's good to see more of those dropping. So next up, we're going to talk about Bright Engrams. There's a big overhaul with this stuff, and they're going to be changing how they work. And this is where some of the exotics come into play. So new ships, new sparrows, a ton of exotic stuff. So they're going to be overhauling how the system works as a whole, and pretty much all the emotes and cosmetics inside current Bright Engrams are going to disappear and be replaced with new ones in Season 2 stuff, so it makes the emotes and stuff more exclusive. They previewed one of the new exotic emotes called Mic Drop, which of course is one of the holographic ones. They mentioned the Bright Engram armor sets, which are also going to be replaced by new sets. They actually didn't show the new set fully, they just blurred them out, because apparently they represent some new content that hasn't been released yet. So probably Curse of Osiris, seeing as that's the big DLC launching around the same time as Season 2, and they haven't properly revealed it yet. But this new armor set inside Bright Engrams for the second season is apparently related to some new content we haven't seen just yet. So you can see some of the new exotic stuff inside these Bright Engrams. Very weird looking shape, it's almost like a chair. There's also new transmat effects. There's new exotic sparrows you can see. There's some of the weirdest looking ghost shells I've ever seen. This one rotates, and apparently if you pull it out and look through it, kind of rotate around, you can look through the solar system, which is a really cool feature. But I don't think the ghost shells are exotic. I think it's just these ships, emotes, and also sparrows. Now, they also said that shaders are not going to be resetting with seasons, which is really good because these are obviously consumables and temporary, so they're just going to be adding new ones on top of the ones we already have, not resetting the old ones. And they also mentioned how they're hearing our feedback about bulk deleting shaders, which they're working on trying to do soon. They also mentioned how every season is going to be bringing a brand new Sandbox tuning patch at the beginning of the season, so they didn't detail what they're currently working on, but they're looking at data and numbers and community feedback for that stuff, which is going to be in the big patch of Season 2. So they also announced the new Clarion call system, which is pretty interesting. I actually covered this a few days ago when it was found inside the database, and it does work pretty similar to how I said it would in the video. So different vendors, factions, and NPCs are going to offer a Clarion call, which boosts your rep gains and XP for their activity. So the first one is going to give XP for leveling clans. There are also different versions for all the other activities. So there's one for planetary NPCs, one for each of the Vanguard, so Hunters, Titans, and Warlocks, Shax for the Crucible, and Hawthorne for clans, which of course is going to be the very first Clarion call. So that is how that's going to work. So in terms of clans, they also said how of course your clan banner perks are going to reset, and of course your level is going to go back down to 1, and you'll earn new one for the season. You're also going to earn new clan staffs, which of course is that middle part that goes down the clan banner. You'll earn different ones which kind of represent each season. And of course the clan engrams are going to be updated with the new gear rewards. So in terms of future reveals and more updates, they're going to be at Paris Games Week, which I believe is the beginning of November, and they're going to be revealing some new stuff and talking more about seasons and more loot rewards. They're also going to have 3 reveal streams happening in November, which I'm willing to bet is going to be about Curse of Osiris and probably a bit about the Dawning, maybe the weapon balancing patch as well. If you don't know, Bungie always hosts streams detailing what to expect in DLCs and live events on their Twitch channel. That is why this was streamed from TwitchCon, so it's the main platform to reveal stuff. So these 3 November streams are going to be the same thing, revealing stuff about new content, updates, and DLCs. So let me know down below, what do you think about seasons? What do you think about all this stuff? I'm actually pretty impressed personally. My expectations weren't that high. I wasn't expecting them to do all this stuff, but I was hoping it would happen, but I didn't think it would. So like a lot of games with seasons, it does give a bit more incentive and reason to hop on and try and get new stuff. And more importantly, it gives more value to the things you're earning right now, because you know it's not going to be available in a few weeks when the season ends. So I do like how there's going to be more weapons with more perks and more armor sets, and also like how only a week after Iron Banner ended, they're already improving the loot system and announcing how they're taking our feedback onto account. So that's really impressive. But of course, like always with Destiny, we do have some more ways to go. There may be some new shiny loot to get, but I personally want to see some drastic improvements to the raid loot, more reasons to actually play strikes and depth and playlists in the Crucible, and more of an endgame. So we'll see how many of those they address in those November streams. But if you enjoyed this video and want to help support the channel, then a like rating down below would be much appreciated. Click the image on screen right now to watch another Destiny 2 video from me, and I'll see you guys next one.